Good evening. I thank you for joining me on today's series. I believe you had a great weekend and also you had a successful past week. With Valentine's Day in a few days ahead of us, I'd like to touch on the subject relationship. And more specifically, I'll be focusing on finding your missing component in a relationship. Finding your missing component in a relationship. As usual, I begin with a few questions. And so today, let me start by asking you that, how is your relationship with the people that you love? How is your relationship with the people that you love? And what component or defining aspect of that relationship are you missing? Wouldn't it be nice if you had a perfect relationship with everybody, or at least the person that you love? You see, relationships exist amongst us all, whether it's in a casual way, whether it's in a formal way, or even an informal way. But regardless of what shape or form it takes, a successful relationship demands compromise and mutual respect. It demands acceptance and honesty, understanding of emotions, and understanding of the attractions that binds both of us together. It also demands commitment and forgiveness, because your attitude in a relationship will determine the altitude of that relationship. And so, what component or what defining aspect are you missing in that relationship? You see, when you spell out the word relationship, RELATIONS, yeah. Each letter in that word means something. So today, I'd like to break it down and give you the meaning of each letter that comes together to form the word relationship. The first letter, which is the R. The R stands for respect. Respecting each other. Respecting each other enough that you wouldn't talk behind each other when the other person is not around. You wouldn't criticize the other person to other people when they are not around. You respect them enough that when they do something wrong, you are able to approach them and tell them instead of insulting them to other people. You respect them enough that whenever something is wrong with them, you are able to bring them to attention. You are able to tell them instead of going about telling people about what the other person is doing that you don't like. And that leads us to the E. The next letter, which is E. It stands for encouragement. Being able to encourage each other. When I'm going through a difficult time, this is the time for you to encourage me not to give up. This is the time that you have to be there to push me. Being able to be the driving force to push me to achieve whatever goal that I've set for myself. So you encourage me, you don't bring me down, or you don't pull me down, you don't discourage me. You encourage each other to go forward in life. You encourage each other when they are finding difficulties. And that will lead us to the next letter, which is the L. The L in a relationship stands for love. That is the acceptance of you loving me for who I am and not what I am. You love me for who I am and not what I am. You loving each other, that is the L. You love each other enough that whether in poor conditions, whether in rich conditions, you'll be there for each other. That is the L. And that leads us to the next letter, which is A. A stands for the attraction. The attraction that binds us together. The attraction that pushes each other to be around. The attraction that draws each other. That is, whenever one person is away, that attraction that pushes the other person to seek to find the other person. That attraction between you two. And that leads us to the next letter, which is the T, the trust. Trust in relationships is a big thing. Trusting that you'll be there for each other when times are hard. That you wouldn't forsake each other when times are hard. You see, there are some relationships that when times are good, everything seems fine. But immediately something bad happens, one person draws themselves away. It shouldn't be like that. You should trust each other enough to understand that when times are hard, you'll be there for each other. That is trust. That is the T in a relationship. The next letter, which is the I. The I stands for interaction. That is the communication between us. The constant communications between us. For a successful relationship, there must be a communication between you two. And by communication, it also means that whenever you talk about something, it has to be between you two. You don't go about telling other people or involving other people in that relationship. It has to be between you two. The communication has to be between you two. It is only through communication that one person will learn what the other person doesn't like. And it is only through communication that the other person will also learn to understand what the other person likes and dislikes. So when there's no communication between you two, it brings the relationship down because nobody knows what's going on. So there has to be communication. Now the next letter, which is the O. The O stands for being able to overlook and overcome. Being able to understand that obstacles will come in a relationship. But at the same time, regardless of how tough the obstacle is, you two will together overcome and overlook the obstacle. So being able to overlook obstacles in a relationship, that is what the O is for. Being able to overcome the obstacles in a relationship, that is what the O is for. And the next letter, which is the N, it stands for nurturing. Being able to nurture each other. Being able to nurture each other. You see, relationship is all about me helping you meet your needs and you also helping me meet my needs. So where I am weak, you help lift me up, and where you are weak, I also help lift you up. That is what the N is for. Nurturing each other. We nurture each other. We nurture each other to prosper. We nurture each other to achieve their goals. We nurture each other to understand and motivate each other. That is what the N is for, nurturing. And by nurturing, it leads us to the next word or the next letter, which is the S. To shape each other. We nurture and we shape each other. We don't shape each other to be perfect, but we shape each other to meet our needs. That is what the S is for. We shape each other, shaping each other. And that leads us to the next letter, which is the H. The H means honesty and humility. Being honest with each other and being humble to each other. You humble yourself in a relationship and you stay honest to each other. Telling each other the truth, not hiding anything from each other. Being sincere with each other and humbling yourself. No relationship can contain two masters. No relationship can contain two masters. So there needs to be that humility. There needs to be that honesty. We have to be honest with each other. We have to humble ourselves towards each other. I don't have to pretend to be humble to you in the midst of people. Whether in the absence of people or in the presence of people, there must be humility and honesty. We must humble ourselves to each other. And the next letter, which is the I. The I stands for interest. We must be interested in each other. Even if you are not around, the other person has to show interest in you. You see, some people pretend to show interest in you when others are around. But when it's just you two, it's like there's no communication, there's nothing going on. But when other people are around, they pretend to show interest in you. It shouldn't be like that. The interest is both ways. We should show interest in each other. It's the interest that binds us together with the attraction. So we should show interest in each other. And the last letter, which is the P. The P stands for prayers. The P stands for prayers. It is the solid rock behind the relationship. Without prayers, the devil can easily manipulate whatever goals or whatever achievements that you've set for the prayers. The P stands for prayers. The P stands for prayers. And with prayers, the next letter, which is the S. So relationships. The next letter, which is the S, stands for being strong. Being strong in a relationship. Not everybody wants to see the good of the relationship. To some people, they want to see the downfall of the relationship. But it's up to you two to be strong. To be strong to encourage each other. To be strong to be attracted to each other. To be strong to pray for each other. To be strong to be honest with each other. To be strong to respect each other. To be strong to be humble to each other. That is the solid rock behind the relationship. That's the S. So let me run through again. First, we looked at the R. The R means respect. The R in a relationship means respect. And then we moved on to the E. The E means encouragement, being able to encourage each other. And then we moved on to the L. The L means love. Loving to accept each other for who they are and not what they are. And then we moved on to the A, which is the attraction. The attraction that binds both parties together. The attraction that pushes you to be attracted to that person. That draws you closer to the next person. That is the A. And then we moved on to the T, which is the trust. Trusting that you'll be there for each other in hard times and also in good times. Being able to trust the person that even when times are hard, they'll be there for me. Even when things are not going well, I can still count on them. That is the trust. And then we moved on to the I, which is the interaction. The interaction stands as the communication between you two. How constantly are you guys communicating? It's all about communication. Without communication, I wouldn't know what you like. Neither would you also know what I like. So there has to be that interaction between us. And the next letter, which is the O. The O stands for being able to overlook and overcome. Being able to overlook mistakes. Being able to overcome obstacles. Understand that obstacles will come your way in relationships. Some will come through friends. Some will come through even family. But being able to overcome those obstacles, being able to overlook each other's mistake and accept each other, it is that will cause you to be attracted to one another. So the O in a relationship stands for being able to overcome and overlook. And the next letter, which is the N. The N stands for being able to nurture each other. Being able to nurture each other. Being able to nurture each other. That is, where you are weak, I help you to be strong in that area. And where I'm also weak, you also help me. We nurture each other. It is the nurturing or the ability to nurture each other that will help you to accept each other for who they are and not what they are. So we nurture each other. And the next letter, which is the S. The S stands for being able to shape each other. As we nurture each other, we shape each other. You are not a perfect being. Neither is the other person a perfect being. And so there are certain things that you have to adjust to suit them. So you nurture and you shape each other. You shape each other. Being able to shape each other will help you to be attracted to each other. So you shape each other. And the next letter, which is the H. The H stands for being able to be honest and also humbling yourself in a relationship. Being honest with each other and humbling yourself to each other. You humble yourself. No relationship can contain two masters. So there has to be that humility and honesty. Honesty that I wouldn't hide anything from you, and honesty that you also wouldn't hide anything from me. Honesty that I'll respect you even in the midst of people and in the absence of people. That is the honesty. And humility. With honesty and humility, you are bound to overcome any obstacle that comes your way, because you two are honest with each other. You humble yourselves to each other. And that leads us to the next letter, which is the I. The I means interest. Being able to show interest in each other. Being able to show interest in each other. If you are able to show interest in each other, not because of what they are, but who they are, you have a successful relationship. There are some relationships that one person loves the other person because of something particular that they have. It doesn't have to be like that. You love them for who they are. And so you show interest in them. And the next letter, which is the P. The P stands for prayer. You pray about the relationship. You pray for one another. You pray for one another. Without prayers, it will be hard for you two to overcome any obstacle. So you pray about the relationship. You commit the person into God's hands. You commit them into God's hands. You seek God's protection for them. You seek God's guidance for them. You seek God's leadership for them. You seek God's love for them. Because if they love God, then they will love you. Why? Because they understand that you are created in the image of God. So you pray for them. You don't just pray for yourself. You don't just ask God that, Lord, let this person love me because I love them. Instead, you pray to God, ask for God's leadership, ask for God's guidance and protection towards their life, towards their family. And the last letter, which is the S. The S stands for strong, being strong. Being strong. Being strong to respect each other. Being strong to encourage each other. Being strong to love each other. Being strong to be attracted to each other. Being strong to trust each other. Being strong to show interest in each other. Being strong to overcome and overlook mistakes. Being strong to interact or communicate with each other. Being strong to overlook each other's past or mistakes. Being strong to nurture each other. Being strong to shape each other. Being strong to pray for each other. So you respect each other, you encourage each other, you love each other, you accept each other, or you attract to each other. You trust each other. You interact with each other. You overlook and overcome obstacles and mistakes. You nurture each other. You shape each other. You humble yourself and be honest with each other. You interact or you show interest in each other. You pray for each other. That is relationship. That is all that relationship is. I don't know what kind of relationship that you have with others, but ask yourself that what missing component in a relationship are you missing? What component in a relationship are you missing? Do you respect the person? Do you encourage the person? Do you love the person? Do you attract to the person? Do you trust that person? Do you interact with that person? Do you overlook that person's mistake and overcome their obstacles? Do you nurture that person? Do you shape that person? Are you honest and are you humble with that person? Are you interested in that person? Do you pray for the person? And are you strong enough not to give up in that relationship? As you ask yourself these questions, I pray that you find that component that you are missing in a relationship. God bless you for joining me today. And on this note, I'd like to wish you a happy Valentine's Day as it's coming up. May you use this Valentine's Day to determine or estimate the component that you are missing in your relationship. God bless you, and thanks for joining me today. I'll see you next week. I hope you have a blessed evening and enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you.